Howdy folks, Doc here with Last Best Tool. This might be a little controversial, but let's talk about tools retaining their value. Now we're not talking necessarily collectibles, that's different and kind of runs on more of an intrinsic individual basis. But let's talk about brand names. Now I got this set of Icon wrenches that have appeared in a previous video. I bought this set for $20. The entire set, that's 1/10 of what it sells for new. I got this Icon digital torque wrench, which I really like. I paid 25 bucks for this. In fact, I found the old, I still had the kind of the instructions. It was like brand new, but this is what it started as. Look at that, 1/2-inch Icon torque wrench, $39. And I paid 25 bucks for it, is what I ended up spending. And the reason I'm making this video is that I just recently picked up this. This is a Hercules tool backpack. Big, heavy-duty, gigantic thing. Tons of tool storage, etc. in it. And this was in the same store. Look at that. It started out, it was $24, and they called it a tool knapsack. I got it for $15. 15 bucks. And part of the reason is this one small pawn shop in a little town in Montana that I sometimes, when I'm in town, I stop by, deals in a lot of tools as well as electronics and musical instruments and jewelry and knives and, you know, whatever else, camera, old camera or new camera equipment, you know, some cell phones, occasional bicycle, but they just lump all of the, essentially the Harbor Freight tools, regardless of what you know, the internal brand they are, into one big lump of not very expensive tools. This, you know, was a $200 set of tools. I got it for $20. So they must have got into it for even less somehow. This, like new, this is, I think, over $300 for one of these, and 25 bucks. So it's like, why? Well, it's because it says Icon on it. It does not say Snap-on. If they have something that's Snap-on, they pretty much don't deal. You know, maybe just a little out of a courtesy, but otherwise the Snap-on prices are expensive and they don't really deal on these. And I've been to a lot of pawn shops that pretty much say that straight out. They don't discount the Snap-on stuff. And that's because something, you know, you just don't see these very often. Why? This might sell for, I don't know, $140 new. Used in good condition, they might still ask over $100, maybe sell it for $95. You're going to be hard-pressed to get that kind of a return on any non-Snap-on ratchet. I'm not saying it is worth that. I'm not saying the quality is that much better. I'm saying that the brand commands a greater return on the initial investment. Knipex, I've picked up some Knipex stuff, pliers, things like this, really cheap. I mean, sometimes people know what they are and they sell for more, but I wouldn't be surprised if I could pick up these for maybe 10 bucks. It's just, there's something about certain tools. You almost never see anything like this in a pawn shop. If you do, it's either beat up or it costs about what a brand new one costs. And sometimes I found that the pawn shops like to have that stuff. It gives them a little bit more status when people walk in and see some really nice tools. But they also are asking a premium for them. For a screwdriver, you know, although this might sell for close to 100 bucks, you know, with a bit in it, and it's going to cost, you know, maybe $80 in the pawn shop. Maybe you'll get it for $75. I mean, that kind of a return on a used tool is something that I take into consideration. So I might buy a more expensive tool, but then I can also get out from under it without as big a loss. So let's say I bought a set of wrenches, probably not straight across with Snap-on and Icon, but you know, for one set of wrenches, an inexpensive set might be 100 bucks. Maybe say the Snap-on or a good, you know, Mac maybe might be 200. The $100 wrench I may not even be able to get rid of, maybe 20 bucks. Whereas the Snap-ons or maybe the Macs, depends, I might be able to get out of for 75% of what I paid. I don't like to buy things just to sell them that way, but it is something I take into consideration. So it's a lot easier to spend a bunch of money on a brand that you know is going to have a high resale value, because then there are also places just like this pawn shop that these wrenches just had very little value to them. That's why I ended up buying them. I thought, okay, I've always got kind of some projects going on, or I sold my Snap-on digital torque wrench because I didn't use it very often. Pretty expensive thing just sitting there, but I ended up just seeing it, and it was like, yeah, it's a Harbor Freight one, so it's not worth much. Even though it actually, I knew from Project Farms videos, or maybe it was Torque Test Channel, I don't remember, was, really scored high on it. It's in great shape. The amount of times I use it, it'd be perfect. But overall, if I tried to sell it, what could I get? I don't know what these are, 350 bucks or something. If I tried to sell it used, maybe I could get 75 for it because I know what it's worth. But you see right away, it doesn't command the attention or the resale value in the used market. So I'm curious what you think. What are your experiences? A lot of times if you're really dialed into something, maybe then it makes more sense to spend more on a tool that doesn't necessarily hold on to its value. But overall, I do think that sometimes we underestimate just how powerful that name is. And with that, Doc out.